Hello everyone, again, thank you for coming out. I'm so happy to be here. It's my first festival, first film I directed to get into a festival, so we're really happy to be here. So thank you for showing your support. Today I wanted to talk about some things that I'm really passionate about. The first one is, of course, like us all, independent film and independent filmmaking. The other is diversity in independent filmmaking and why that is so important as us as artists and filmmakers. So I would like to ask everyone a question, and I want to hear, you can just speak out loud, but what do you think independent filmmaking means, and what does it mean to you? Anyone? It could be a word, like popcorn. Yes?
Not Hollywood.
Not Hollywood. Great. Anything else? Just keep them coming. Yes?
Freedom.
Freedom. That's beautiful. Love it.
Creative liberty.
Creative liberty. Yeah, all these things. We live in a crazy time, and I'm not going to tell you what I think independent filmmaking means, but there's a lot of discussion about diversity, and from the Me Too movement to Oscars being so white, there's a lot of things that are coming to light about the studio system, but also about our Seattle community at large as well. And as a female filmmaker and director, I want to share some of my experiences, but more talk about the issues of diversity in film in a larger context, and how it relates not just to us as independent filmmakers, but us as artists. So, who am I? My name is Katanya Warwick. I'm a local director, writer, and producer. I started off as an actor, to be honest, because I thought only men directed. And it wasn't until I moved back to Seattle 3 years ago that I saw firsthand some amazing indie filmmakers like Megan Griffiths and Lynn Shelton, among many others. But that image started to change for me. And that's, I think, how important it is to see yourself represented fairly in media, in transmedia. And it allowed myself to dream a little bigger. So I went from thinking the only roles for me as a woman was as an actor, but unfortunately as an actor, I had no control over those stories. I saw myself as a storyteller, but with no real power. And I couldn't rewrite the script, I couldn't change the point of view, I had no control over the edit or the camera angles, and no control over how my image was being represented. And it wasn't until I started screenwriting and I felt empowered to tell the stories that I wanted to tell, that I felt weren't being told. And I came to think of myself more as a creator and in control of my own voice, and started to free that voice. So 3 years ago, I came back to Seattle and I started working in film production, doing everything. I pounded the pavement, I worked on every project, I said yes to everything, I worked for free, 16 hours a day. I threw myself in, and doing all that production work, I saw a lot of things, not all of them great. And Lynn Shelton coined the phrase Crewtopia. Does anyone know what this means? It's the idea that you get on a film set in Seattle and it's like the crew's running smoothly, you're making magic, everyone's friends, everyone's safe, it's a great environment. Well, that wasn't my reality. And I've heard a lot of people say that they want to create diversity and support diversity in our community and make a creative, inclusive space, but what I saw was not that all the time. And I just kept thinking, where are the women? Where are the people of color? Where are the queer and transgender and non-binary people in our communities? Because I know they're there. I live and breathe them every day, but why are they not getting a voice? And what do we have to do to make that happen? So my journey here has been long and difficult, but and getting my film into STIFF has been just an amazing process. So the film I directed is called Last Night of Normal, and it was a very hard journey full of doubts for me as if I could be a director or not, and what it meant to be a female identified director, and what kind of responsibilities that meant. So I figured out that it doesn't really matter. Being a director is having a strong vision, and so everyone deserves that. And so, it wasn't just me, it was people supporting me along the way. And without all of that support and mentorship, I wouldn't be here today. But I wanted to talk about how we are actively pursuing this inclusiveness and how we're helping these values in our own communities. Because it's not enough to just say we're allies and to post about it on Facebook. We have to be actively going out there and doing it. So I kind of came up with my own checklist for every project that I say yes to. I can only speak for myself, but this system works for me, and there's 3 basic rules. And that is, first is, I take a look at the crew. I take a look at the names. I see if there is diversity on set. If it is unbalanced, I go out there and I try and find people. And I find people who are different than me, and I invite them along because it is my job to create that safe place for everyone. And then if I write a script about a character whose life is very different than mine, I will go out and I will find someone to consult with. And I will get feedback and listen to what they have to say and how they feel about how they're being represented. And then if I'm asking my actors to be vulnerable or naked, I had a majority of a female cast, and my majority of the crew were 23 young men, and that was very difficult. There was 3 women on set, and that I was one of them. So it's very important to me when I'm asking my actors to be vulnerable that we're respecting that space and making sure that there's no more trauma that can sneak in there, and that's really important to me. And I also would never ask them to do something that I myself would not do. It's as simple as that. So I feel strongly that diversity doesn't exist to further careers. It's our responsibility, it's my responsibility to make sure that voices are being heard. So yeah, I just want to say to anyone who feels different and marginalized, we are filmmakers, we belong here, we all do. That's kind of the point. That's what I think independent film means to me, and that their stories are beautiful, our stories are beautiful, and that we do it not because it's the right thing to do or because we're being called names if we don't, but the real reason we do it is because it makes better art.